We have all these things that have come up against us now, right? And we're right on, it looks like we're right on this threshold of things, something really happening here. Okay? And the devil would have us shaken out of our foundation, and this whole point of this chapter is to help show us that we can have strength. But the proper way to handle this situation is not to cave in to the enemy, but to stand our ground and to stand it stand our ground in grace. Okay? Now, he says, Then said Eliakim and Shebna and Joah unto Rabshakeh, Speak, I pray thee, unto the servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and speak not to us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. And Rabshakeh said, Hath my master sent me to thy master and to thee to speak these words? Hath he not sent me to the men that sit upon the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and said, Hear ye the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus saith the king, Let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you. That's classic devil. Right there. If he catches you doing something, he tempts you and you fall, and you get caught doing something, or at least he knows, and you feel guilty, and he's going to tell you, there's no hope. You can't be forgiven now. You've crossed the line with God. He can't deliver you. And that's what he's going to tell you. Mm-hmm. And every time we've seen this over and over in the Old Testament, it has so many stories and situations that are a great help and a picture of what the Christian should be on the spiritual side of things. But it also encompasses physical. It's not just spiritual. But ultimately it is spiritual, but it's tied to the physical. Right? Because the spiritual is always acted out in our realm in the physical. So you can't have one without the other. We're tied to this physical body. But you see it with David, when David goes and he does things and he's not supposed to do, or he takes it upon himself that he has God's will or whatever, and he goes and does something and he never asks God. Sometimes he asks God, sometimes he doesn't ask God. Saul the same way, same bonehead. And he's even given instructions and he didn't even do the instructions. And God punished him. So this is the way it is with people. But here's going to be the proper response. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, The Lord will surely deliver us. This city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, Make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and eat ye every one of his vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink ye every one the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, and a land of bread and vineyards. And that's how the devil does it, and he makes it sound like everything is so much better, so much, or the same. I mean, if you enjoy your life that you have now, well, you can come over here. It's getting bad there where you are, and it may not be that God would have you to be there anymore, so you can always come over here to us, with us, and you can have this and that, and be just basically the same or better. That's what the devil does. He entices us to come over to something, and he may say, and he may not even say it that way, but he may make it look enticing, and it may be appealing to the flesh rather than even the spirit. And it may be appealing. He may try to appeal to the spirit. But with everything that he does, he has to he puts out enough truth so that he can sell a lie. And if that don't work, he's going to try to put fear in us. So he has many different ways of working. And we see this as we go through this discourse. So he says, beware lest Hezekiah persuade you. See, and Hezekiah is be the shepherd of these people. He's the leader, and he would be the shepherd of these people, and as a representation of God. And then he's talking. That's why he said it in the Jews' language, so that the rest of the people would hear it as well, and he wouldn't just be speaking to the leaders, right? And so he's speaking to them, and he's trying to bypass the leaders who are the protectors of these people, and he's trying to go straight and directly to the people. Okay, rather than going through the representative of who would be God, as we would be dealing with it now, it would be God. So he tries to bypass him and go straight to us, and then he puts this fear on us, and he tells us that we can't trust God, and that's what he's saying right here. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying the Lord will deliver us. See, hath any of the gods of the nations delivered this land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? And this whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, but they're not the God of the Bible. They're not Jehovah. They can't deliver anything. They're just made of wood and stone. Right? They can't speak. They can't do anything. The people who made them with their own hands are the ones who have to take care of their own statues, their own gods. Come on. Seriously. Does anybody really think that they can go make something and go worship that thing? I don't think they do. Unless they're just insane and possessed with the devil. But really, do they think that that's going to deliver them? I don't think so. I think more than anything else, I think that they would rather have something else than to have the living God and to have a relationship with their own Creator, because it would make them responsible to His will and His laws, and they don't want that. They hate that very thought. And so they would rather do something that is so childish and so stupid and superstitious that are the marks of an insane person. They would rather do that than bow the knee. But mark the Bible's words. They will bow their knee. And they will confess that Christ is Lord and King of Kings. And that goes for those Hebrew roots people. They don't want to admit that God's Lord. They hate that word. Every time they see Lord, they want to put Yahweh in there. I'm sorry, but you can't fit Yahweh in every time that the Lord's used. You can't fit Jehovah or a name every time the word Lord is used, the title, because that's what He is. He is that's His title.
You can't use. What about the word godly and ungodly?
Yeah. Can't. Yeah, godly and ungodly. Those are terms too. You can't replace that with Yahweh.